Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. We are doing Coffee with Venom, and I have Marzil here with me. And Marzil seems to have just woken up.
Just a bit dazed.
Yeah. You had college today?
I had an exam today. So
Shit, man. You should have told me, dude. I would have rescheduled it for like another day.
no, I just got over. My next exam is a week later.
Acha. All right, cool. Let's get you famous in the meanwhile. So we've got already 7 people in chat watching. That's nice. Thank you guys for showing up on time. Sorry about the delay. Right. So let's get a move on with the questions. So I have a whole bunch of questions for you, and I'm going to be playing your TMG match versus Shooting Monkeys. That's going to be playing in the background, and then after that, if we still have time, I don't think it's going to be a 1-hour podcast. For those of you who are tuning in via SoundCloud, that's right, we're going to be uploading these things just for audio. So I'm going to strip the video out, put the audio up online on our SoundCloud, so you guys can just listen to the podcast on the way to work or whatever if you want to, if YouTube is not your thing. All right, so links are all in the description. Every match links, which will be the video footage we're playing for, is already in the description of the video. So you guys can go click on that and check it out. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get down to the podcast. Marzil, you're going to be talking to us about CSGO. And yeah, that's. Did you get the memo? That's all I'm telling you. So Marzil and I we've recently met. We recently met in ESL India, and at the Nordwind Gaming office, where I was Fed's nurse for the day, and and that was the day. Yeah, that was the day you were playing Too Easy, right?
No, that was the day we actually played Semperex and JMD.
Oh, sorry, Semperex and JMD. Okay, whatever. I still bet on you. It's fine. Yeah, sorry, Semperex and JMD, and you won both the games, right?
Yes, we won both the games.
All right. So, Marzil, you have been described as the most explosive entry fragger and one of the most cunning CSGO players in the Indian Counter-Strike scene. I am paraphrasing Archie, who told me this on the phone today. How does it make you feel?
Oh my God, I'm more than flattered because, when anybody starts off a game, you don't expect to become the best in this short period and then be called an explosive entry fragger or anything like that.
No, but you've been in the scene for like what, 3 years right now, right?
Yeah, but I never thought that I'd end up where I was today. It all just happened in an instant in front of my eyes. I'm like, okay, suddenly I'm an explosive entry fragger, one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
This, that, and I'm just, man, I feel a bit humbled by that because I still feel that I'm still in that matchmaking wala region where I'm just playing for fun and doing this and doing that.
Wow, look at that, guys. So humble. Please don't be humble, man. It doesn't get me views, okay? Dabu was less humble, by the way, when I interviewed him previously.
So all the trash talking aside, I try my best to be humble,
Yeah, in fact, like just by the way, I'm just gonna go on WhatsApp, and Marzil's status is practice doesn't make perfect. We're not machines to be perfect. Practice makes ... better. That is humility on his WhatsApp, okay? That's how humble this guy is. All right, so you're a young player, clearly, and you're, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 20 right now. I just turned 20 this
All right.
October.
Okay, so you're not that young. You're old now.
Thanks.
By CS:GO standards, man, you're getting older. All right.
I know,
So,
I know.
do you feel like you should have entered the scene slightly earlier, or is it like too late, or is it just right? Like, what's up?
CS:GO, I bought it 3 days after it released. I had no
Yes.
idea there's something known as competitive esports before that, right? I
Okay.
just bought it and I'm just playing, and then suddenly I see this NIP versus Very Game matchup in my YouTube's recommended suggestion. I'm like, what is this, right? And I open it up, and then
Mm-hmm.
I see that okay, there are teams playing this good, and they're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Why is it happening in India?
All right.
And then I see that it actually has happened in India for previous games,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 4 years now.
All right. So next 4 years, this is like a short-term thing. Like you're gonna be concentrating on CS:GO for just like the next 4 years while
No,
you're in
no, this
college,
next
or
4 years when I was in eighth grade. Right now I'm in second year
oh,
engineering.
cha cha cha. Okay, okay.
So
Sorry,
when
sorry.
CS:GO instantly released, right, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to do until my school ends.
Wow. So you really grinded throughout school, and then by what? By the
Yeah,
end of school, you were already looking at joining teams and things like that, right?
yeah, yeah,
All right.
pretty much.
So you were originally in the entity blue roster, right?
Entity, blue, gold, red. I don't know the colors.
Okay,
I was
so
in the
you were in the
Invictus
entity
roster.
roster. Okay, you were in one of
Yeah,
the entity rosters,
yes, one of the.
and your teammates were Ace, A-Star, and who were your other teammates?
Actually, my teammates at that time were Ace, Ribby,
Okay,
Excali, and DNM.
okay, and so starting off with your first roster as a professional, like what were you guys working on in terms of like strats? Like what was entity doing back then?
Back then, it was how do I put it, right? Back then, we before we were called Entity, we were called Invictus, where we
Okay.
just made the lineup to actually play the Zawi Extreme Plans qualifier,
Mm-hmm.
and we qualified, and we were like, okay, we qualified, we get to go to China.
Mm-hmm.
So before that, we would get together every day, just go through a map on a practice server, make a few defaults, see what mistakes we did previously, and try to fix them. And this process would go on and on, but the problem was we really had no direction, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like one day we'd see a problem in our what we're doing right now, and we try to find a solution only for that one round. That if we did this, we could have done better.
Right.
So it was all jumbled up, and we didn't have any progression. If any, it would be very very small
Mm-hmm.
as both an individual and as a team. So I think now, since we have a coach and we have a regime and we have a lot of direction as to what we're supposed to do on this day, this time, this hour, this schedule, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It helps out a lot. It makes sure that no matter what, no matter who's had a bad aim day or what problems we have,
Right.
it's instantly fixed and we keep going forward.
Okay. So you guys have come a long way since the early days on Invictus and Entity. Like you guys are
Yeah.
completely different. We'll be going through some
Mhm.
of the roster changes so that we can like discuss like what
Oh,
changed.
there's so
Yeah,
many.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I have like the basics. I've done some research for this interview. So,
Okay.
um, so like okay, so let's just look at when you were in Invictus. What positions did you guys play? What was your role?
Okay. As Invictus, I think I was allowed to be less of an entry fragger and less of everything basically.
Mm-hmm.
What my job was to open up space for the rest of my team to actually exploit.
Okay.
When I look back, it was not the right way of playing CS because we were forced to play a very very passive sort of holding sort of default and a holding sort of game, and
Okay.
that isn't me, right? I
Yeah.
don't know how to hold. But I've learned it over the time. But I'm explosive, as Archie
As you
describes it.
described, yeah.
I like going in their faces, and that's what I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while to actually get used to that sort of gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Do you
lost
find
track of.
yourself playing slow? Did that help later on in your career, right now, in the current entity roster?
Um, at times, it's
Okay.
like there is always something to gain from playing slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
it's like this. You explode, you get a kill, and you come back. And if you manage to do all of that and not die, right,
Right.
then it's a man advantage to you, and then you can exploit off of that, right? So it's always going to be a good thing if you explode at the right time, or if you open up a place at the right time for your team.
Yeah, so I guess that's like the basic ground rule of playing an entry. Like you need to know when to sort of go
Now, an
aggressive.
entity in any structured team, right? You wouldn't want to die after you get a kill, right? You always want to keep that advantage.
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
And the enemy's goal will be to actually trade that frag off as soon as it happens. So it's always a contest of whether you can trade it off or whether you can get that advantage and come back.
Thank you for the sub, by the way, whoever that was. Yeah, so you were playing a different bunch of roles. Like it was not fixed. Like you were not like right now.
Yeah.
You're very structured, is what you're saying. So
Yes,
you
right
are
now I have.
you're
I
either
know
are you entry or you second entry? What are you?
I am entry, and when it's like this, right? I usually work the extremities of the map.
Okay.
So I'm either the entry or I'm the lurk, depending on how the round pans out and where the kills come off.
Okay. So
So
you're sorry.
it's like basically how SK is. I wouldn't go so far as to say I'm like Colzera, but it's like that. It's like I have the choice to either open up the side when opportunity presents itself, or I have the ability to lurk late into the round.
All right. So basically, you're
Yeah.
saying you're the Indian Coursera. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
No, I told you, right?
All right, cool.
Just take that example.
All right. So after entity Invictus entity, you joined TMG, and that's the match which we're watching. We're watching the TMG finals, TMG versus Shooting Monkeys, and you guys won this game. This is on train, and we're at the 1-0. We're starting off. So yeah. So what I wanted to ask you was, now we'll talk about TMG, and the TMG roster was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Haku, Moon, Equitas, Ux, and yourself, right?
Yes, this was back as soon as I left Invictus in 2016.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, when you were playing, this was a different roster when you were playing the finals.
Yes, when we're playing the finals, it's a different roster altogether.
Petrichor, sorry. I'm sorry, Petrichor. Petrichor, Formless, Kadoosh, Ux, and yourself.
This is the Taiwan Excellence one you're talking about, right?
This was the Taiwan Excellence tournament, yeah.
Yeah, this year, yeah, that was the lineup that we were rolling with.
Yeah, all right. So let's just talk about the first roster, which had you playing with your current coach. I mean, you were playing with Equitas, right?
Yeah, Equitas.
So how was that? Like, how was it playing with the man, the machine?
Honestly, I'll say this hands down, right? He was the best and still is the best IGL that you can ever have on a team, at least in this country, right?
Yeah.
I've played with him long back when there was MTS Game God and stuff in 2014, when I was too stupid and too young to actually understand the game properly. He just put me in position and tell me to press W and then go kill it. So I didn't think much of him that time, right? I'm like, okay, I can press W, I can kill, I must be the pro.
Yeah.
But then later, as we played in TMG and we played the ESL Challenger together, that's where we knocked off my old lineup, by the way. I think that's the sweetest memory that I'll ever have.
Okay.
So basically, after I left the entity lineup and I joined TMG, we had to play against them in a knockout match.
Okay.
In the ESL Challengers.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
And Prashant was my IPL.
Yeah.
Prashant is Equitas, by the way.
Yeah.
For people who don't know. And let's just say,
gave it to them, eh?
he kept, all he did was talk the whole map, right? So he hasn't played CS a lot, like how CSGO as lot as we have. CSS, he's a god.
Okay.
So CSGO, he just be like, oh, whatever. I come a weekend, I play, I get 4 kills in one match, and I'm happy, right? He's like, my goal is not to actually frag. My goal is to actually help you guys out in positioning yourselves. So he just kept talking the whole map about, okay, Haku, you do this. Okay, Moon, you do this. Okay, Marzil, you go here, do this, do that. We'd have this new setup, which would blow the enemy out of the water. They'd be like, what the hell is happening?
Achha. Yeah, that must have felt really good.
Yeah, that's eventually what got us the win.
Yeah.
We just kept doing different stuff over and over again, and they were so confused. They tried to, play the structured way and like, okay, this guy's doing a default here. Next round, I'm elsewhere on the other side of the map, and then they're like, what?
You were just like bamboozling them. It was a mind game at that point,
Yeah,
right?
it was basically Prashant versus Entity's head, and Prashant won.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
So okay,
so I
be
can vouch for
honest.
him.
Like out of your old roster, who do you love the most? Like out of the four guys, you know. Like you
This
don't have
roster,
to say
the roster,
Prashant. You don't have to say Prashant. But like, who are you like in sync with? Like like
Akshay, AKS.
AKS, Ux. All right. So,
So during the time as well, right?
uh-huh.
The problem with we had with Moon, Haku, or even Petrikova for that matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like they're good aim wise. They I can never beat them in any 1v1 server, any game or anything.
Mm-hmm.
If their confidence is normal
Mm-hmm.
and even minus normal, I will never win against them. The thing is, CS is not just a game about point and click.
Right.
It's about actually having those mind games inside. It's about actually having a read on the enemy and knowing where to look when, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they were a bit lacking. Whereas
Okay.
me and Akshay, we're similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's a lot better than me. I'll say that right off the bat.
Yeah, Ux will
He knows a
probably
lot
be
more
one of
about
the
the game.
best Counter Strike players in the country.
Yeah, he's probably one
Even
of the best.
right now. Like yeah, you know.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
knows he knows every single smoke and flash you can think about every map.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best support you could ever ask for, right? So
Right.
we had this sync where we just pair up, and then if things didn't go out and work out in the team, we just
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, Akshay, I need you to support me here. We're gonna open up this site, and then the two of us will open up bomb sites, and then the rest of the team just had to come aim and shoot, and that's how we'd end up winning most of the rounds that would happen in TMG.
Wow. Wow. That's so.
So
You
he's
learned a
probably one of
lot.
the best teammates
Yeah.
because as an entry fragger, you need a support.
Right.
Otherwise, you're a useless entry fragger, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know how to use your support properly and you all you know is how to play press W and mouse one,
Mm-hmm.
you're just good at matchmaking player because you can kill puggers and everything like that. But when you're playing a team game, it's important to actually know how to use somebody else to your advantage to open up a site.
So can you give me an example? Like, what would you and Ux do in a typical like
All right.
situation?
So our default would work around Akshay going blue door in
Mm-hmm.
cash, and
Okay.
I'd go A main. So I'd usually throw a few grenades from A main.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go on top of the they call it the Marzil box inside A main
Mm-hmm.
because I love playing that box. I go on top of that, and usually Akshay would go blue door and then call out the positions of the enemies. Right, he can hear people in quad or side.
Right.
He'll call them out.
Mm-hmm.
He'll pinpoint them out, and he'll say, "Okay, listen, I'm going to give you a flash. You can go out and you can isolate this guy out because the other guy will be flashed." And I'll be
Okay.
like, "Do it." Even if there's a smoke, even if there's a molly, I'll say, "Do it."
Hmm.
Because I have so much faith that his flash will get them, and I
Mm-hmm.
instantly go out, get the pick, and open up the site.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's
Yeah,
unheard of. I mean, at least
yeah.
in Indian CS:GO, you don't see it a lot. I mean, you do see it, but it's
I
not
mean, it
like
doesn't always also work out that way
workout. Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes people don't get flashed. Sometimes he might mess up the flash a bit, or I might get stuck somewhere in the wall in the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But it works out. It works out to the point where we can actually talk it out. We can discuss what's happening, how they're playing,
Mm-hmm.
and then tell the three others also, our aim stars of our team, to actually go out and shoot these guys here.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. Okay, so coming to the current TMG lineup, which is what we're watching, Ux, Petricho, Petrichor, sorry, Formless, Skadoosh, and yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
so Haku left TMG, right, and that's when Petrichor joined. And
Yes.
after this win, like you guys, you guys qualified for no, sorry, you guys qualified for Masters, right? Sorry, after Equitas. When Equitas was in your team, you guys qualified for Masters, but you didn't
Yeah.
play the Masters.
Yes, we didn't play the Masters. We qualified from the Challengers, right? We went to the finals of that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Delta Dream, Eternal, whatever you want to call them
Right.
at that time.
Okay.
We lost to them. The biggest accomplishment of that tournament was, like I said, knocking out Entity
Right.
in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't get a chance to come to Masters after that because of what we did.
But why didn't you guys play Masters? Like, were you knocked out?
So basically, we had Equitas,
Mm-hmm.
Petri, and Akshay in our team.
Okay.
Masters went on that time for 6 days, I believe,
Okay.
and they're working, so they can't just
Ah.
say, "Listen, And they work to actually host the servers that ESL uses, right?
Right,
If
right.
they're not there, who's gonna host the servers? Who's gonna do so strong work?
Oh, that sucks. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, man, so
So
was it
yes,
like frustrating, or like were you like, okay, it's
not
cool
really.
now?
I always understood after joining TMG that these guys have work coming as priority, just
Mm-hmm.
like how I have exams coming as priority to
Right.
any tournament or anything.
Mm-hmm. So that's a
And
very
yeah,
important thing our viewers should like understand. Like you managed to give. I mean, gaming was a priority, but it was not your number one priority.
yeah.
Exams were.
I love gaming. If I could make a career in gaming, I would definitely 100% go for it,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I'm trying to do now.
Right.
But at the same time, don't neglect your studies or education,
Mm-hmm.
saying that, listen, I'm just gonna game, I'm gonna become a prodigy with
Yeah.
play putting in a lot of hours, because that usually doesn't work out unless you're blessed to play the game, unless you're somebody like Nico or Colzera who's literally born to point with his mouse and click.
And click. Yeah.
You're not really going to go far, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's always good to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a degree in your pocket, you're free to do whatever you want.
That's true.
That's how Indian parents say.
Yeah, yeah. We'll come to the parents' question much later. Much later. Right now,
Okay.
let's talk about just the core Counter Strike. Um,
Mhm.
so, so up till now, what you've had three roster changes. You were in Invictus, then you had one
Only three?
TMG roster, and yeah, this is the current one we're looking at is when you were playing with Skadoosh, Petrico, and Formless.
Okay.
Uh, could you tell us
Yeah.
a bit about playing with them? How it was playing against Shooting Monkeys? Like,
With TM3NM is playing the Taiwan Excellence, right?
yeah, the Taiwan.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me take the time to actually describe each player and their flaws as well as what made them great
Mm-hmm.
asset to the team. So I'll start with Akshay because I already mentioned a bit more about him.
Mm-hmm.
Best support you could ask for. He'll do everything for you, and he'll work his ass off to actually get the win, do whatever, and he's the biggest tryhard you'll meet ever. He's not about having fun or anything, and he's always like,
Yo, he looks
yeah,
like he
let's do
can
this,
beat
let's
you
try
up,
this,
man. I'd be
try that.
careful about what you say. Yeah.
Basically, he's asset in that way,
Hmm.
but then he's a bit panicky, in case he sees an enemy or he sees something really, really obvious, he'll start shouting it on the mic like, "There's two here, there's two here, there's two here, go me." And in a way, I can tolerate that, right? If someone shouts on the mic and just tells me, because I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a calm guy when it comes to the game,
Hmm.
so I'll just cool down and just do what he says. But what would happen with our teammates, right? When we had Petri or Formless inside the team,
Hmm.
they'd like freeze a bit. They'd be like, Wait, what's he saying? I can't decipher what he's saying." And then they'll stop aiming and they'll try to focus on what Akshay is trying to say. And in
Hmm.
that time, they might get pushed in that direction and get killed. So he'd be a center of chaos basically when something's happening on the map. He gets very excited and
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Okay.
And he tilts very easy. So if something doesn't work out, he'll be like, oh.
Speaking of tilting, like I've heard that you were famous for your raging. Like, is that true?
I no,
No.
no.
All right. So
How?
Archie,
Where?
wrong information,
Cat.
Archie. Wrong information.
I, I I really don't know. Maybe people have said I rage or I'm toxic or whatever you want to call it.
No,
I'm
no.
usually the kind of
I'm just
guy
messing
who.
with you, man. Like, don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Okay. So moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, let's see. Petrichor, right?
Hmm.
Solid guy
Mm-hmm.
outside the game and inside the game. All of them are like good people outside the game as well. Uh, Solid guy, solid player. He's a perfectionist, right? It's like he has some mental, I wouldn't say disorder, he has a mental order. He has to have everything right,
All right.
where it's there, here, that. And that helps him out because his aim, right, is so much like a surgeon
Mm-hmm.
that no matter what's coming to him, he'll just look calmly and just tap it out
Mm-hmm.
and he'll get the kill. If it's a 1v1 and the enemy has to face Petrichor,
Mm-hmm.
they will lose, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's that kind of guy. Problem is, he really doesn't put much effort into the game
Mm-hmm.
in terms of smokes or flash or utility. He has no idea how to do a single
He's
crossing smoke
probably
on teammate.
watching this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's bad at smokes and flashes. He's not the utility guy, so that's
Ah,
why we always put him as the entry fragger. Like, you go first, you
yeah,
get the kills, and you come back.
yeah, yeah.
He's good at clutching out rounds
Mm-hmm.
just because of his sheer aim power.
Mm-hmm.
He's calm. He doesn't tilt.
Right.
But yeah, main drawback is he doesn't put effort into learning the smokes and flashes because he feels like why do I have to need to?
I'll just out aim
I don't
everybody,
need to.
like.
Yeah, he'll do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that's better. Formless, right? Formless is a little bit complicated. He's a good player, like on his good day when he's
Formless
happy, when
is
he's normal.
Rishabh, right?
Yeah, Rishabh Tomar. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
he's a good player, good guy. His voice is a bit monotone though, which works out. I actually enjoy that because no
Yeah.
matter what chaos is happening, he's always calling calmly.
He's keeping his
And I'm like,
composure.
okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, but sometimes you also have to indicate a bit of urgency when something's happening, like he's getting behind us or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There, it's a bit lackluster, but that's fine. That I can understand because his voice is just like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the fragging department, he's excellent, right? He'll give you the most nutty shots. He has like I think the Brutality frag movie where he USP aces them on upper or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's a solid player in all those respects, but one problem is his mental fortitude is very weak, I'd say.
Whoa. Whoa. That's like a serious thing to say, bro.
No, I mean, I'm not saying he has a problem or anything, right? It's
Uh,
like his what happens outside his life affects him in game a lot more than it should.
right, right.
It's like if he feels down a bit, his comms go down. He doesn't talk. He's not aware of what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He just blur. He's zone out completely, right? And you won't understand why. And then you might end up yelling at him like, "What the hell are you doing?" But he'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a bit dazed,"
Mm-hmm.
and that would happen more times than often.
Mm-hmm.
And I seriously hope that whatever's happening outside of his life, he's sorted it out already. He tells me that he's a good friend of mine.
Oh,
He tells me
okay.
that it's all
Oh,
chill
he's a
now.
good friend of yours. Okay, fine. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So he tells me that everything's sorted out now, and he feels on top of his game, and I'm happy for him,
Okay.
and I hope he goes far. He deserves that. Basically, he's a very very good player, undoubtedly.
Yeah, man. I was hoping to get like Formless next as a guest
Okay.
on the podcast. But
Yeah.
I don't have his number.
Last person, Skadoosh, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, Skadoosh. Good thing about him, he's good with his aim, movement. His CS fundamentals are really good, and
Mm-hmm.
he was the IGL, right?
Right.
When he was calling, when he was there.
Yeah.
Basically, he's the type of guy, right, who will make his whole team feel like the enemy are a bunch of bots, and that you can just go out and out aim them. There's nothing in front of you. He's the hype man.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna hype you up to the extent where you feel super confident about yourself, and
That's
you can go
great.
destroy everybody and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the game, I have no complaints. He talks, he does everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at actually reading the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he overthinks stuff, but that's fine. Every IGL has that sort of issue when he's calling.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Um, he's a very very solid player, good
Who is
guy as well.
Skadush playing for right now?
The Skirmish is playing in Brutality right now.
All right. Okay. Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. But he's not playing. He's not taking the IGL role.
he has. I think he has.
Oh, he has. Okay.
He's still the IGL. Yeah, he's the IGL, and him, Pasha Sahil, Juventa, Venom, and I forgot the last guy, Rix. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Brutality's lineup right now.
Mm-hmm.
We actually scrimmed them a few times as entity.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing some good CS now. After a long time of seeing Brutality play a coordinated sort of CS that Skadoosh brings in.
Right.
And he probably hypes them up saying, listen, you guys are one of the best entry fraggers. You can take out entity easy peasy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a good thing for them.
Like Marzil's a noob.
My only issue with him was that he's, I don't know, outside the game, right? He's all right. I'm not going to say
You don't
anything
have to
negative
say
about him.
anything negative, by the way. I'm just saying,
Okay, no, I'm just trying to give you the clear picture, right? He
Yeah.
would generally not like to hang out with the team or whatever. He'd just be in his own world. He'd be like, talk to me only inside the game. Outside the game, let me go chill with my friends, sort of guy.
All right.
You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to the point kind of
That
guy.
can affect team chemistry, I guess, a little bit. I mean, quite a
Yeah,
lot.
we never really talked a lot about the game outside the game, right? We never really
Mm-hmm.
sat together and talked about what the mistakes
Do
were,
you
what we
guys
could have done better.
do you
and all
guys
that.
do that with Entity, like the current lineup?
Oh, a lot. Like when I went to the boot camp,
Yeah.
after every scrim, These guys go out for a smoke break, and I join them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smoke though. I
I
just
saw.
stand there and then I listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a smoker.
Yeah, I know.
So they all the time the talk is about the game. Even when we eat dinner and lunch, it's either jokes on each other about what happened,
Mm-hmm.
or we're actually talking about how we can
That,
fix a
that's what I
default.
actually noticed, and that's kind of why I was like, you know what, let me get one of the entity guys for the podcast. Like I decided
Yeah,
it like then
we
and there because I was like, shit, these guys, you guys felt like a family, you know, like when we were
yeah
standing on the
we're
roof.
really close now.
Yeah.
The time that we met,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're
How
all
long have you
amazing
known each
people.
other? Like it's been what, 2 months?
Together as a team,
Yeah.
we've played for 2 months. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
around 2 months.
So yeah.
They're really good people. I feel really close to them. I feel that I can talk to them freely, be rude, be nice, whatever, right? They're
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
like family right now.
Yeah, I know. It was nice. You guys were
Uh,
like ripping on each other. It
it's,
was
it's
it
like
was
it's
a
like
lot of
before in
fun.
other
I
teams.
was just observing, you know, I was just standing there and it was you guys and Fed and I was just drinking Pepsi and I was just listening to like the general chaos.
Yeah. So the problem with
It's been
other teams
fun.
would generally be like one guy would talk to the other person on Steam chat and be like, "Listen, this is an issue with me." He
Huh.
wouldn't say it directly to the other person, right?
Right.
In this team, at least we respect each other and we know where on that level where we can just say, "Listen, you're doing this wrong. We
Mm-hmm.
have to fix it." Right?
Well,
And then the
yeah.
other person will be understanding.
Yeah, that's
There's no
really
ego clash
important.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ego clash. There's a zero ego clash where everybody's like, okay, if you think that's wrong, let's work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've always wanted in the team, where everybody can actually be open about what problems they're facing. And I feel like if I had to replace anybody in my team, I would replace nobody right now.
We will come to that in a bit. But that'll be the fun questions, okay? So
Okay. So,
2017, the prodigal son returns to Entity, and
yeah, boy.
there was that mess in between where the eternal coach coached the previous roster, which you were not part of. And then suddenly the entity team they were the entity manager, I'm forgetting his name, was forming
Gautam
a new
Mange.
team. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he apparently approached Blair Fett Equitas, basically the Source Strong
Hmm.
guys, and was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know about this.
what's the dream team? And in fact, Fett was telling me that his dream team, if he had to pick a roster for like the perfect CS:GO team, it was you guys. It was you, Sai,
Yeah.
Amratsu, Falcon, and Hell Ranger.
Mhm.
That's Fett's dream team, also.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
So
This is actually the dream team.
yeah, so you guys are like playing probably like some of the best Counter Strike you've ever played in your lives so far, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you guys are a healthy mix. Like Amaratsu and Falcon seem a little older, so you're a healthy mix of young players and older
Falcon's
players.
actually just 22.
Really? Okay.
Amaterasu is a bit old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 26.
Mm-hmm.
He's the oldest in our team,
Okay.
and he has so much valuable information that he puts in because of his
Exactly.
experience.
So that's what I wanted to get to. Like, so how is what's the
Hmm.
give and take in terms of like advice from the older players in entity to the younger players?
All right, so honestly, we all have immense respect for each other. That we know that each one of us, right? We all know that we know equally well about CS. We know equally well about how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's before it used to be the teams would be like, okay, listen, you during the clutch rounds, I'd have to go tell them, and listen, he's got to come from here. You do this, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, the respect is such that we all stay quiet when the alive guys are playing, and
Mm-hmm.
we let them play because we know that even they have that sort of read that we probably have in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not just reiterated on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the chemistry is really good in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few times where people get hyper and just shout on the mic and stuff, but they're being corrected.
Mm-hmm.
The errors are getting lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have the faith enough in my teammates that okay, I'm not the best player anymore in the team. The best players are the four people around me.
Yeah, wow. Wow, guys, please write these quotes down, okay? Oh, it's beautiful, man. I actually might just shed it here. Like, no, I'm kidding.
Aw.
No, but that's really nice to hear. Like, I mean, this is my first time I'm interviewing somebody. I mean, second time I'm interviewing somebody who plays in a team. Even Nabu, when he was talking about his team and EDX and all that, the amount of respect that you guys, as professionals, you have for each other, it's very important.
Yeah.
Um, old or
So
new,
basically,
doesn't matter.
I did win the MVP of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
This because of the last game that we played, right, versus Too Easy.
Right.
And I just like to point out that I'm no MVP of that team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only as good as the openings that my team creates for me.
Yeah.
All my frags that I did get right, it's not just like I went out and no, I killed them. It was always because of a teammate either sacrificing themselves and doing something that out of their comfort zone to actually put me in a situation where I can get a frag.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that. I've only gotten my frags because of my teammates around me, and that's something that I've learned over the years that listen, no matter how many kills you get on this game or this game on that game,
Mm-hmm.
you're only as good as how much your team makes you, right? It's
Yeah.
always going to be your team making you make the plays.
Yeah.
It's not just you as an individual being an MVP.
Also, I feel
So,
MVP should have been given to Equitas.
yeah, to be honest.
Yeah. But a lot of people have been asking, like, and we'll be going over those questions. A lot of the viewers have asked questions on CS:GO India.
Sure.
One of the main things is since Equitas is your coach, and by the way, not a lot of people know that Equitas is your coach. Have you guys
Yeah.
kept that secret on purpose? Is he like your
I mean, we're
secret
not
weapon?
kept it secret for a reason or anything like that. It's just like we haven't made any official announcement saying that
Okay.
this is guy is our coach because he's not like a coach that like okay we're gonna pay him this much because he's coaching us. He's just like listen, I want to coach you guys because I want to make you the best one of the best teams in Asia
Okay.
by the end of these 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So he has his only agenda is that right. He wants to see us succeed.
So Asia. So he's looking at like he's not even looking at the Indian
Yeah,
scene. He's
we're all
looking
looking at the
international.
bigger scene.
Right.
We're all looking at the bigger scene. That's what he said even after winning the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Against Tui. Like, listen, I'm not proud of them yet. After they do some international damage, then I'll be proud of them.
Right. That's very important. I think that's a very
Yeah.
important goal to
We're
have.
not looking at the smaller goals right
Yeah,
now.
you're looking
We're
at long
looking at
term.
me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what kind of coaching has he instilled in you guys in terms of discipline, strats? What has changed, and what has been instrumental in your recent victory, which is ESL Winter Finale?
So firstly, what we normally do as if you started out a team, right? We just go into a map. We'd say, okay, this is the map that we're gonna play. This is the default. We make a bunch of strats on paper, and we're like, yeah, okay, let's try them out on the scrim. And then if it doesn't work, it's a bad strat. If it works, it's a good strat. La la la, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But he showed us how important it is that we communicate as a team, right? He showed us that every round that we've lost, right? And he'll review our demos and then say, listen, if you had communicated this, we would have won that round. If you had done this, you would have won that round. It's not just like he looks at something and says, okay, you did this thing wrong in the strat. He always tries to find a solution through communication. So that next time, if we do end up in an awkward situation during a round or something doesn't go our way, we always have this sort of thing that you communicate, you're going to win no matter what. So we always keep talking. He's improved our communication by leaps and bounds.
Okay.
We have this sort of schedule where
Do you
we
have
take the
like a? Do
fundamentals.
you have like a script? Like like.
We have a
So-
very detailed script
Okay.
where we for every map we focus on three things, right? There's fundamentals,
Mm-hmm.
there's the momentum, and there's the strategy.
Wow.
So fundamentals is basically gonna be like how would you actually approach this map?
Mm-hmm.
What sort of default would you take against what sort of team? What would you do? What utility would you have saved? How you will communicate, working out a pick, stuff like that, right?
Hey,
The momentum is
just to stop you. What was your username in the final game for ESL Winter?
ESL Winter Marzil.
Okay, then I think I'm playing a very old entity versus Too Easy. This thing. I'm very sorry.
Must be an.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just change that. 1 second.
I probably wasn't there in the.
Yeah. No, because I saw yesterday. I was like, oh wait, sorry. I've played the wrong match.
Yeah.
Just give me a sec. We'll just continue from the previous. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. You were saying. Sorry.
Yeah,
So you're
so-
talking about your 3 different things that you focused on.
Yeah. So the fundamentals first.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing was the momentum, right? So the momentum is where, let's say you win the pistol round, now. obviously, if you win the pistol round, you're either forcing the enemy team to go for a pistol armor buy or you're forcing them to eco, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you've noticed as well, right? That a lot of these teams win the eco rounds. They just
Yeah.
buy pistol armor and they end up winning the rounds and just
Mm-hmm.
goes up to 1-1, which is not an efficient way of playing CS.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to ensure those two anti-ecos, right? That you win those rounds, so you get a 3-0 lead,
Mm-hmm.
and you do something very, very different on the first gun round to catch the enemy off guard,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the 4-0 and you force them to eco again and at least get it to 5-0.
So
So we
basically, you're trying to
practice.
break the economy essentially in the first 4 rounds. Like,
Basically, we're trying. Momentum is basically trying to get that 5-0 lead starting after you win the pistol round,
right. Okay.
no matter what. So
Five
we always
zero.
try to
Okay.
practice that as soon as we win the pistol round, we have to ensure those 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to keep the CTs modest about their economy.
Just to pause.
Or the Ts
When you
modest.
guys were playing against Phoenix and Too Easy, there were some like plays where they were rushing or they were doing half buys or forces, and they kind of caught you off guard. Why did that happen this time?
On cash or on which map?
Yeah, uh, who did you play Phoenix? Which map did you play Phoenix on?
Played them on Inferno and Cash.
Yeah, so then Cash. Yeah.
Cash, we actually won pretty convincingly, if I remember correctly. We won at 16-3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
They did get a few pickoffs on us on an eco round.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because after this is a bad habit with our team, is
Okay.
we get the lead a lot of times very, very fast, right? And then we grow a bit complacent.
Right.
We keep telling ourselves, listen, don't go complacent now. This is gonna focus.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I think it just boils down to human nature where they're just like, I can take this risk.
Yeah, yeah.
I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We end up giving the guns and we lose, stuff like that.
Did
After we win that,
Equitas give you a hard time for those losses? Like,
for Cash, not really, because we were so far up and we actually followed the fundamentals so strongly that he was like, yeah, that's okay.
mm-hmm.
You can at least this much is excusable,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand why you would show the aggression, because we're already having such
You're
a
already
strong
up.
lead. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. On Inferno, he was like, no, that shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you guys tried something different as opposed to what you actually done in practice. You're playing a bit scared, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He told us a bit about that, and yeah, basically he didn't yell much, or he's not the guy that yells either.
Mm-hmm.
But he did correct us, saying that this shouldn't have happened. If you, like I said, right, always tries to go for a solution for that. If you had communicated this before doing this, or done this right before doing this, you would have probably won the round much more cleaner and showed a much more dominant performance.
So,
Yeah.
so basically, there's a lot of discipline now that you've been working with Equitas, and you
Oh
guys have.
yes, we're always trying to play us.
Hmm.
It's
What is your
it's easy to actually.
solo like? Forget boot camp. Like, how do you sort of discipline yourself when you're playing alone on your PC? If you are like
By myself.
what's your warm up regimen like?
Honestly, other people like DMing or aimbots and stuff like that, right? To
Yeah.
actually warm the hands up,
Mm-hmm.
get the use of the aim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything like that. I don't warm up. I don't aimbots. I don't do anything,
Achha.
because the more I've seen this, right? I do aimbots or warm up or anything like that. I play worse in the game,
Okay.
because I'm pushed into a situation where I'm forced to take duels, where I want to take duels because I've had such a practice of actually killing those bots that I'm like, I can kill you no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
and I end
And
up
then
dying.
mistakes happen
And
basically. Yeah, that's
yeah,
interesting.
based on
I find the same thing happening with me. When I play deathmatch or play matchmaking. I mean, okay, I'm playing on matchmaking level. Okay, I'm sorry, but I've
yeah,
noticed that when I
no
do a
problem.
DM and then I matchmake, I play like shit. But if I wake up
Yeah.
from sleep and just start matchmaking, I'll
Yeah,
be fine.
you play a much better game, right?
Yeah, I'm well
I think
rested.
honestly,
I'm blank. I'm just entering with like an open mind. Yeah.
my practice generally revolves around just jumping into an actual next game or a pug or whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
and actually working through my. There's a certain path I take as an entry fragger when going to get a kill,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just try to rehearse that, go through that, see if I'm getting the kills,
Mm-hmm.
see what's working, what's not working, calm down a bit, get the jitters off,
Yeah.
get a feel for the mechanics of the game. Basically, just pug around as my warm up, you could say.
Would you consider Too Easy as a formidable opponent like during the finals of?
Oh, not really. I think they were pretty sloppy. No disrespect to them, right?
No, no.
They played
You
well.
guys took it to overtime to beat them, right?
No, we
No, you
won
did. Sorry,
normal
I'm
time from
looking at.
both
I'm
games.
still thinking of the other game. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. This kind of throws my questions off. But anyway, so yeah, you were saying, what did Too Easy do right in your opinion? What did they do wrong in your opinion? Did you learn anything from their gameplay?
One thing that we took away from their game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when we forced them to pick overpass, we had a game plan ready.
Okay.
So our veto was actually meant to throw them off. Their best map is Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
So we banned that first, and
Okay.
that threw them off guard because Inferno is also a good map of ours, so they were expecting to play it probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did pick Overpass. And the thing about Overpass is, right, we saw enough games of their Overpass to actually know exactly what they were doing.
Okay.
So we played an exact anti-strat of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up getting up a 11-4 CT half and getting 14-4 after that, I think, after we switched to the T side and after we won the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So we won that game pretty convincingly. I think what they could have done different was realize that we're letting overpass through for a reason, right? If
Right.
we've watched their game,
Mm-hmm.
maybe change something up a little. They didn't do any of that because they did exactly what we expected them to do and fell right into our trap,
Yeah, in fact,
right?
even Fed was mentioning that they're very good at like trades. Like one of the reasons
Yeah.
he was saying that they were.
Basically, all they kept doing was a 4-1 where they would send four people together and one guy just lurking around or doing his own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept exploiting that fact that there's this middle area where in overpass at least it was connected that was left open all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
Hellraiser kept getting the backstab on them,
Mm-hmm.
and we kept winning rounds just because he would get behind them and get all that info for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we,
And yeah,
I think
info is
we,
very key in like in tournaments. Like you have the
yeah,
drop on your other on the enemy team. That's it. That's
yeah,
all
you
you
just
need.
stack up a side and you win the round.
Yeah, because that
Information wins you rounds.
information wins you rounds. Exactly. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So, where do you see yourself finally, at the end of your pro career? Do you have
in my
something
pro
else
career,
planned?
that's a long time,
Yeah, that is a
bro.
long time. But like, do you see yourself becoming an analyst, becoming a caster? Uh, is there a streamer?
uh, I'm not really decided that far ahead.
You haven't. Okay.
I still have my degree with me, right? I'd also, honestly, ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a video game designer,
Okay.
right? I have always wanted to be guy who makes video games.
Don't do it. I
And
ex video game designer, by the way. Don't do it.
is that so?
Yeah.
I'll we'll
Ex
talk more about that a bit
ex video game
later.
designer. Don't do it. Will ruin your
At least
life.
not in this country, right? It's probably
Yeah. I
better
mean,
off in
yeah,
other countries.
yeah. But then you need to like have a portfolio. If you're gonna go abroad, because abroad
I'm
is
working
very
on that right
competitive.
now as well.
So, are you a game artist or a programmer?
I'm just a dev. Yeah.
You're a programmer. All right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make whatever I can with video games. I'm just basically I'm just exploring. I'm not uh
No,
stuck
absolutely.
in on
Go
my
for it. Like,
job.
learn engines, learn Unreal Engine, learn Unity.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
using Unity right now.
yeah,
I'm trying to get good at it and all that.
yeah, yeah. You should be able to
Yeah.
code for basically any engine. That's the idea.
Yeah.
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 Oh, wow. Interesting. Interesting. So, you're a computer science major.
Information science, but yeah, same
IT.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
All
like
right.
IT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got it. All right. So, we have a couple of audience questions, which we'll just quickly run through.
Sure.
We took these questions on the CS:GO India Facebook page, which is
Okay.
run by all your friends. So
Ah,
yeah.
the
So
big guys up there.
yeah, yeah, the big guys. I'm just gonna like minimize my questionnaire now. Right.
Okay.
So Ranjan Kar asks, we saw a really close match between Entity and JMD during the LAN phase.
Mm-hmm.
Although Entity managed to close it at 16-14, we know
Mm-hmm.
that they are capable of closing it at a much earlier stage.
Yeah.
So basically what happened?
All right. So probably the game would have, like he rightfully said, right? The pro game should have ended at 16-7, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
We got a good opening to us round when it was 13 or something. We were in a huge lead. What happened was we ended up in a clutch situation, which we lost out for very, I want to say, player-based reason. It was
Mm-hmm.
like our teammates' aims just didn't work at that point. was probably too cold
It
at
was
that
cold.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cold. They didn't hit
So,
their shots.
uh-huh.
We would have probably shut down their economy and won the game there.
Mm-hmm.
What happened after that, though, is no excuse. Antidote, props to him. He actually
Played
played a
really
very,
well.
very unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
So we also watched JMD's demos, right? And we knew the way to shut down JMD was actually to make sure we isolate Antidote out of the game
Mm-hmm.
and actually play based on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept trying new stuff to see what works. So Antidote is unlike any other opponent we faced before on Mirage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you on that. When we played against Southeast Asian teams, you don't have an opper running out of connector and taking a shot on you at mid and going back.
Yeah.
That's unheard of in the
Yeah.
Asian scene.
Mm-hmm.
They try also to play a very structured game.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, though, you molly off connector, he smokes it off, he comes through and he gets a kill on either me or Sai. And then we be like, what? What do we do now? So he got a good bunch of kills. But towards the end, right,
Hmm.
no matter what they would have done, even if we had to win 8 more rounds in a row, we understood how Antidote was playing,
Mm-hmm.
and we won a series of rounds in succession just because we knew exactly what he was doing and we used the right smokes and flashes to shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we ended up winning that
So
game.
the play against JMD was finally shutting down Antidote. That was it. Like.
Yeah, basically, yeah. As soon as Antidote shuts down or you push him away, you
Mm-hmm.
make sure he doesn't get that first kill,
Mm-hmm.
they lose the round.
All right. Vedant Bapodra asks, please ask Marzil about Prashant's coaching, which we've already answered.
Mhm.
How has the coach made a difference to the team play? Which I think we've already covered. So Vedant, I
Yeah.
hope that's fine. Aman Singh asks, ask Marzil, what is the secret of his proness?
Oh my God. I get that question so much, right? Even in Steam profile comments and everything.
uh,
Guys, firstly, I'm not a pro. Uh, I'm not as good as what I wish to be.
mhm,
There's still a long way for me to climb.
mhm,
If you ask me what makes me what I am today, it has just been because of experiences and just continuously playing over the last few years
mhm,
with just a love for the game, making sure you make new friends along the way, making sure you associate with the right people, always trying to learn.
mhm.
And yeah, just enjoy the game for what it is. Don't lose your cool just because you didn't hit a shot or things are not working out. Everybody has their bad days.
Yeah.
I've been there. And right now I'm having my good days, so good for me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been playing,
Yeah.
he's been asking, he wanted to know when you've been playing since, so that's third day of CSGO launch.
CSGO,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, right? CSGO was the first Counter Strike I've ever played.
Are you serious? Are you
Yeah, so
serious?
yeah,
Oh my
so it released in
god.
2012. I bought it. It's 2012, 21st August. I bought it 23rd August.
Acha.
It was out on retail in one of these malls here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, let's just try it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd end up playing on these pub servers. I
Mm.
still didn't know what competitive was at that
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Before that, I was a huge Call of Duty player. I was actually a semi
Yes.
Call of Duty 4
You
Pro.
look like a card gamer.
Yeah, thank you. So I was a semi COD 4 Pro.
Right. Modern
What was
Warfare
that?
4. Modern
Yeah,
Warfare, yeah.
no, yeah, Modern
Yeah,
Warfare,
Modern
just Modern
Warfare.
Warfare,
COD 4,
COD
yeah,
4.
yeah.
There were Indian servers, pro mod servers, I think,
Pro mod
where it
servers.
actually.
Dude, I might have actually played against you then. Because
Yeah, you might have.
I was
I
really
don't.
into Pro mod. Yeah.
My in-game nick was my first name itself, or it would be Makarov or something,
Okay.
and I used
There were so
to
many
play a
macros
fair
back
bit.
then. Like, huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I just used to play a bit. I used to pub stomp and be like, yeah,
yeah.
all this is fine. I never knew
Were
the
you a
approach scene
sniper?
like
Were you a sniper? Or did
I
you
was
rifle?
everything.
You were everything.
I wasn't everything.
Alright.
I was mostly a sniper, yes.
Huh. I know. All the good players were like very good at sniping. I remember in COD 4. Yeah.
Mhm.
Alright.
So I there's jokes about me even in the entity boot camp, right?
Mhm.
They'd see me move my crosshair and be like, "How do you move your crosshair like that? It's so weird." I'm like, I don't know. I grew up like that.
Wow. So this is the story of a COD player who became a Counter Strike pro. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I was a COD 4 player when I was 12 years old. So
Yeah. So I guess the
mm,
muscle memory sort of like
sort of
developed
stuck. Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Akshay Tayade asks, ask Marzil about parent support in CS:GO scene.
Uh-huh. When I was initially playing
Mm-hmm.
back in the day when I was in school, my parents never supported me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
They always would be like, "This is useless.
Mm-hmm.
and understandably, right? They don't see the game like how I did.
Mm-hmm.
I will watch a lot of anime and cartoon, by the way.
Okay.
I am a huge fan of anime.
Mm-hmm.
But my parents look at it and say, "Oh, you're still in the child's world. You watch cartoons."
Yeah, but anime is not for
Uh,
kids anymore. It's like very clearly
no,
for
no,
adults. Yeah.
that's what they don't know.
What's your favorite
So they
anime?
can,
Just side question. Right,
yeah,
right
I'm
now, what are you watching?
watching. I'm just trying to finish. I just finished Noragami, Stray God. I'm only watching these finished ones. One Piece, I'm reading the manga. I'm also reading Noblesse the manhwa. That's the Korean manga. I read the Gamer. Mostly it's manga right now because anime just got like too mainstream.
Okay. All right.
I've
So,
watched a fair bit of anime, the
but
standalone
now
animes.
that you guys, now that you've been winning, and your parents should be supporting you, right? Like, they must be hard.
Yeah, getting back to that, right?
Yeah.
Whenever they always thought I never knew about the world that I'll be taken advantage of everywhere. That I'm this kid that they have to protect.
Right. Right. Right.
So anytime I'd used to ask, can I go to this tournament? I'd be like, no, you don't know how to handle yourself. You don't know how to do this. This is a very, very risky thing that you're doing.
You grew up in Bangalore,
But
right?
then,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
exactly
I'm in
safe.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'd never be like, yeah, wholeheartedly be like, no, go. I have to sometimes sneak away and be like, I'm going for a study session or something. Or I'm actually going for some sort of contest by my school or something and sneak around and play. The breakthrough happened last year actually
Okay.
when I actually told my parents, listen, I have to play this tournament, the Zoe Extreme Clans one, and I qualified. We got to go to China, right?
Yeah.
I told my friends, Mom, Dad, I'm going to China. And they were like, what? Over a video game? Who's paying you? Who's doing this? Why are they doing this? And then they actually did a bit of research themselves about this gaming,
Okay.
and they see it as a new revolution right now. And ever since then, every time I've said, listen, I have a tournament, they've been supporting me to go here, go do that. As long as I keep my studies up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes without saying, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rakesh Senapati asks, what was your first matchmaking rank?
My first matchmaking rank was a Master Guardian Elite.
Wow. Just off the bat, you went
Yeah.
really fancy,
Uh-huh.
man. Oh, so I mean, okay, what's your rank right now?
I don't have a rank right now. My rank expired because I haven't played matchmaking in so long. I was a global elite.
You were a global elite, all right. There you go. Look at
I was a
look
global
at
elite back in
look how proud
2013
and
and stuff.
smug he looks. For those of you
No, I
listening to
was
the
one of the first.
audio later on, he's looking very happy.
I think Adi was one of the first global elites. Then came me,
Okay.
and then a few other Mumbai players, Mithil, Manan, Ace, and everyone. We used to all matchmake and stuff, right? So yeah, we were one of the first few global elites of the country.
Not bad. Abhishek Kulkarni asks, what are your views on just the differences in execution between the best Indian teams and the international teams?
Okay, let me take my team's execution for example.
Yeah.
You compare that with something like SK, right, which is right now, in my opinion, the top team in the world. They are 100 times better. Undoubtedly, they have so much more small things that we can't even fathom right now because we're not at that level. They do so much of basically when a normal player looks at a VOD or a POV and then just sees Nico go in, right? He, he just goes in W's in B into B in cash or something like that and then gets a few headshots in. He's like, okay, let normal player would think that okay, if he's doing that, I should be able to do that as well, right? And they try that. But what they don't get is right when the top players actually play against each other, all their tactics are at such a saturated point where they're trying to counter each other, right? Where you have to do something unorthodox to actually catch the opponent off guard. You have to do some ranty pushes through the smokes or do the flashes that nobody would expect to actually a mind game which is trying to shut you down. So there is, if you watch the top teams play, right, you can't actually analyze a proper tactic there because each one of those players are trying to anti-strat each other. Every player is trying to anti-strat each other. It's at that global level. But if you look at these, let's take a normal Tailu or anything for those sort of teams, right, in Asian scene itself. you see they're trying to bring a lot more structure to them. They have a lot more precise executes. And yeah, as compared to them, we're trying to evolve into that at least before we actually go on to actually talk about, even think about competing with European teams or North American teams. So it's first the Asian continent we
Asian.
have to get
Mm-hmm.
over.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a long way to
Long way
come
to
in terms of
go.
execution as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just a bunch of smokes being thrown and mollies, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also about looking in the right direction, timing your flashes, knowing when you don't need a flash,
Mm-hmm.
adapting on the fly, knowing what can go wrong, what play the enemy did that you have to instantly think about and counter that at that instant, in that split second.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that goes in, and we're just trying to gather the experience to be able to do that right now.
It's okay. You have a
Yeah,
long way to go, so it's fine. I mean, I'm sure
very, very long.
you guys will figure it out as you go along.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the goal.
yeah. Samit Mohanty asks, "What's your annual earning?"
Confidential.
Yes, that's what I told him. I told you, bro. I told you. Uh,
Um, annual earning. I mean,
on a scale of zero, not comfortable, five, comfortable,
good. I'd say decent to good
so a four.
for somebody who's going to college
Yeah,
and actually doing this as a hobby, part-time job, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
I'm earning enough to actually do what I want, buy the gear that I want, and then
Mm-hmm.
even give some money to my family.
Not bad. That is the dream, basically. Like that's basically the
Yeah,
dream for every gamer in India. Forget
yeah,
professional, like just every gamer in India. If you have the tech to play the game that you want to play at the best resolution and settings and like peripherals, nothing like it.
yeah.
Um,
People make a joke about that, right? I used to play on 1920 1080. That's full HD,
yeah,
and I honestly I still love that resolution,
yeah.
but I can't play it on every LAN event because my FPS would drop like so much.
What is that ideal FPS that you need to like to where you're comfortable?
300 250 plus, to be
Okay.
honest.
All right. So yeah, I think that's about it. We'll have to end the questions here. Maybe one last question from Gayan Raja. He says he's a huge fan of you.
Oh, thank you.
He's also asked about your parents' reaction, which we've already answered.
Hmm.
And he wants to know when will you start streaming again?
Oh, uh, I don't know. I did try streaming once,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't think, at least in my opinion, I don't come off as a very entertaining person.
Okay.
I mean, sure, I'll play and
You have to be
I
very
might,
brutally honest with yourself to like come to that conclusion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm entertaining in person, right? I
Yeah.
can kid around, I can mess around with you guys. But when it comes to actually streaming, I'm a person who's very focused on my game, so I can't give the viewers that much attention.
Yeah.
But actually, if I did that, I'd be being fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
By just being fake on camera and trying to. I don't have my own thing where I'm not like the
I
calm.
actually have a suggestion because I've seen this in a lot of pro players who are trying to stream, like
Okay.
Brutality Venom and all these other guys who are streaming. Sai,
Mm-hmm.
Sai of course is extremely entertaining. So like forget
Yeah, Sai
Sai.
is entertaining.
Yeah,
He's very, very entertaining.
yeah. So I think if you want to really get into streaming, what I would suggest is record your gameplay and just have like a webcam and like talk to stream while you like do your thing. That's it. You know.
Yeah, but that just ruins the streaming
It
vibe.
might ruin it for some people, but it's a great way to stream because you get to talk about your
I
gameplay.
mean, it's basically like the War Owl, right? What the War Owl does.
Yeah, yeah, it's the Matchmaking Academy. He actually does it for some of his streams as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he does. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's
Okay.
a good way if you want to concentrate on the game and then you have like
But I mean, if
good
people are asking
footage.
for my stream, I'll stream. I don't know
Yeah,
if
you
I have
should, man.
fans on me.
Like we don't have good CS:GO streamers. I'm one of the best CS:GO streamers in the country. I'm kidding.
Oh,
All right, cool. So now we're kind of done with like the major serious questions. We're just gonna have like 10 fun questions, and we're gonna call it a day. Um, so
okay.
so yeah, the first fun question.
Fun
If you were
question.
stuck on a sinking ship, I'm talking like Titanic. It's you and one of your teammates. Okay, in the place of Jack and Rose. Who would that
Okay.
teammate be? Who would you want in a sinking Titanic situation?
Wait. Am I in the water or am I on the plank?
You decide. You decide. You
I don't want to
decide.
kill any of them. All right. I'm actually pretty close with Sai and Bhavin, Hellranger right now.
Right.
So it'd probably be either of them, Sai or Hellranger.
Sai or Hellranger. All right. Okay. So from your current roster, fuck, marry, kill.
Uh,
You gotta have to do
okay.
it, bro. You gotta have to do it.
Okay. Fuck Anuj.
Who's Anuj is
Amaterasu.
Amtrasu. Okay.
Okay.
Marry?
Marry Hellranger. Kill Sai.
Kill Sai.
Just for the kill of it.
Just for the lulls, right, right.
Yeah.
Among same question, but among your TMG teammates.
Why you do this? Okay. Marry Formless.
Okay. Pretty quick. That was a very quick answer, by the way, guys.
Actually, okay. Marry Formless.
Yeah.
Fuck Petri.
Mm-hmm.
And kill Skadoosh.
Kill Skadoosh. What did Skadoosh ever do to you?
Nothing personal, right? He's
Nothing
never done
personal.
anything to me.
All right.
It's like sometimes I feel we don't really get along as much.
Okay, so you'd kill him. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, so the next question was I made the next question assuming you play you played 1.6 in condition 0. Have you ever played 1.6 in condition 0?
I played it in my school like once or twice. And then I was just like,
Didn't like it.
too weird.
The question was
Yeah.
what gun would you bring over to Global Offensive if you could?
I actually played enough to actually know what gun I'd rather bring over. I'd bring the old Deagle back as compared to the new one because I cannot hit anything with the new Deagle.
Yeah. I figured that would be everyone's like this thing, you know. The Deagle
Yeah.
in 1.6 was so beautiful. Oh my god. Like I was good
Yep.
at Deagles back then. I have no idea. I
Yeah.
just don't buy the Deagle, you know. When I see somebody
Yeah.
in the opposite team running towards me with the Deagle, I'm just like, dude. I'm just like, okay, whatever, man. Just headshot me. Because they have the confidence to kill you with the Deagle. That's
Same
bad
with Sai,
enough.
right? Sai is the only one who can properly Deagle in our team.
Uh-huh.
Rest of us are just like peasants who just CZ or P250. And Sai is like, oh, this gun is too easy. And then I pick it up, I stay crouched and I aim for the head and I shoot and it goes somewhere else.
Yeah, that's basically my situation as well. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fifth question. If you had to sell one of your teammates from Entity to a rival team, who would you sell, why, and for how much? You don't have to answer the last question.
Oh, this is hard. I wouldn't want to sell any of them.
Yeah, I know. But you have to understand that if you do sell a teammate,
I'll probably just this is probably my best answer. I'll probably sell Sai to them so that Sai can go and mess with their heads and then come back to us.
Acha. Okay, you basically send him as a mole. All right.
Yeah.
Fair
Basically, I
enough.
just send him to actually, be a Delhiite and come back.
Wow. Okay, we're not doing that. Okay, we're not doing this north-south shit. Okay. CS:GO India will have a field day.
No,
Okay.
all racism aside, right? Most of them, Sai especially, right? He has a very filthy mouth, man. Oh my god.
Yeah, I heard.
The stuff that comes out of his mouth, I'm like, bro, chill. And he's like, I'm chill.
Yeah. He's a Delhiite. No, they are chill only.
Yeah.
Fett is the same. He's exactly the same.
They're good at their sways, man.
Yeah, that's true. Sixth question. Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I do not.
All right, fine. That's that. Okay, let's move. This is supposed to be
Uh-huh.
fun questions. Next question. If you're starting a new team, which players would you pick from rival teams? If you were starting a new team and you're like the coach, okay?
Okay.
Forget the TMG guys. Forget the entity guys. Okay. Nobody.
So, excluding them,
you have to pick people who you've not played with, and form a 5-man. Who would you pick?
Okay. I'll be a bit more scientific about this.
Okay.
As an opper, I would probably pick Antidote, right? Antidote, opper, playmaker, whatever. A support, I don't know, who's a good support in India, man? I want to pick Akshay, but I'm not allowed to pick him, am I?
No.
I'm really not sure about the sport.
Nobody from Too Easy. Nobody from Brutality.
I pick Rexy. He's a solid aimer,
Mm-hmm.
so he'd probably be my entry fragger.
Okay.
Um, who else? This is a hard question. Dude. What the hell? I would pick Blackhawk.
Okay.
Right?
What
He's a
is?
solid player.
What would he be? What would his role be?
He'd probably be the second entry slash support.
Mm-hmm.
Then fourth, I would. Let's see, who else could I pick? Could I pick? I've heard Shinchan is a pretty good support
Mm-hmm.
from Too Easy, so I'd probably pick him for support. And the last one, as the Joker player, I would probably pick somebody like Pasha Sahil.
Okay. Which
Yeah,
team does he play for?
he's in Brutality right now.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So you
Yeah.
you
Oh no,
take
actually,
what is the
I
Joker
probably.
role, by the way? That actually threw me off guard.
So Sai is the Joker of our team, right?
Okay.
Basically, he's the guy who gets to roam around the map and do whatever he wants most of the round. He gets to
Mm-hmm.
float, he gets
Okay.
to op, rifle. He gets to choose if he wants to support somebody or if he wants to entry or if he wants to lurk.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically
An
the
all
wild card
rounder.
of the team. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we all are pretty much all rounders, but
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted to actually make somebody go around the map and do this and do that and actually
Mm-hmm.
extract a kill from somewhere,
Right.
that would probably be Sai.
Okay. All right. So that's a pretty
Yeah.
interesting lineup. So you clearly have a lot of respect for these 5 players that you've picked, right? Like you've
Yeah, I acknowledge their abilities.
yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll leave it at that.
All right.
I respect everybody as people, right? But in the game, if I start saying that okay, I respect his game, I'll end up being on the wrong foot. I'd say.
Okay. You
I,
think
wa-
it affect your
I
confidence?
always, yeah, I don't show respect in the game. I'm just like I feel like I can be the top player in the server.
Right. Right. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Eighth question. What's the latest piece of gaming tech you're sort of eyeing, like, or you plan to buy next?
Hmm. I actually do need a CPU upgrade.
Okay. What are you running with
So
right now?
I'm running with an i7 second generation,
Okay.
the 2700K.
Yeah. You
I'd probably go for.
definitely need
I'd
to
upgrade.
upgrade.
Yeah, I'd probably go for a sixth generation,
Or you
or
could go
maybe
Ryzen, like,
yeah, maybe I could go Ryzen.
huh?
Yeah,
Just saying, All right.
but even when we do that, I also need to upgrade my motherboard if I'm going to upgrade my
Yeah,
CPU
that
as
goes
well.
hand in hand. So you're looking at a processor motherboard upgrade. Fair enough. So
Yeah.
basically a new comp is what you're
Yes.
saying. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
maybe in a year or something.
See, look, even the pro players are like, like, damn, I need to upgrade, son. They, they have to.
Yeah.
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 All right. Number 9. What is your favorite Indian car? Indian car.
Indian car.
Yes. Has to be Indian.
I'm bad at cars. I'm just saying.
Okay, bikes, whatever. Like Indian
Okay.
bikes. Indian bikes is not a
Indian
good
bikes.
question.
It's
What is
what's
your
the
favorite vehicle? Okay, that's Ria.
probably the one I own right now. I own a CBR, a Honda CBR.
Okay, which is a bike,
CBR 250.
right? Because I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
know
bike. It's a
bikes.
sports
Okay.
bike. It's a sports bike.
It's a
Car,
sports
I'd
bike.
probably go with.
One
I
second, one
always
second, one
like.
second. You have a sports bike and you don't have a girl. What? Come on, man.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, you have like. Do you have like a cool biker jacket? I do you have a cool biker jacket? Yes or no?
I do.
All right, fun. It's a work in progress. All right, cool. it's a matter of time, my friend.
I don't think a sports bike literally translates to a girlfriend.
It depends, man. Depends. Like if you're on Tinder, like just
I'm not, and
put it
I'm
on
my
the back,
bike.
put it in the background. That's it. It'll work out. Okay. All right.
Okay, whatever you say.
Yeah. Take my advice. Okay. 10th question. What's your favorite CS:GO skin?
Good question.
Across all skins, like forget you don't have to. Doesn't have to be a knife specific.
Yeah. I'm just trying to recollect the name, right? Okay, it's the Karambit. For the minimal wear or the factory new comes the Crimson Web.
You like the Crimson Web the most in the Karambit.
Yeah, it looks just like blood on the knife, right? So I'm like, oh, it looks beautiful.
What about the Ruby? The Ruby Doppler. Have you seen that?
The Ruby Doppler is it red?
Yeah, it's red. So Dopplers are
It does
blue.
have a little line on the side though, right?
No, no, nothing. It's just perfectly red.
Okay, I want that.
Okay, $400, $500.
I'm not really good
That's
with
about
skins,
it.
man.
What's your
Shit.
current knife? What knife do you have right now?
I have a flip knife rust coat.
All right. So you have a bit of trading to do to like get up there.
A
So
bit?
yeah,
A bit?
a little bit, a little bit. Well, that
I'm not really much of a
concludes.
trader either, right? I won this
You
knife.
know what? Start
Yeah,
streaming. You will get donated. I'm sure.
a knife.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
I've had two knives donated to me, bro. The current knife
Oh,
that I have right now is a tiger tooth, a bayonet.
you mean the one that looks like Tarzan's underwear, right?
Yes, exactly. I have a
Yeah.
yellow inventory, by the way, like completely
Okay.
yellow. Chennai Super Kings, just FYI. So yeah, I,
Oh my God.
yeah, man, come on, like,
Fanboy spotted.
yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Anytime, dude, no problem.
Please give my love to your teammates as well.
I will.
And guys, if you wanna like download this audio thing later on, there's a SoundCloud link which is in the description of the video. So you can just go there and download the audio for this. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for watching. Big shout out to all our YouTube sponsors, all you guys who sponsored the channel. Thank you so much. Helps us do this kind of like work. And all the Paytm donors also. Thank you so much for all your donations. This was Marzil from Entity. Good luck for all your future lands and future tournaments. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you
Yeah.
guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Peace and happy
Bye,
gaming,
guys.
guys. Bye bye.